You are looking at two of the rarest GameCubes in the entire world, and that's not clickbait. They literally made only one of each of these. I know what you may be thinking. No, these are not just some random custom paint jobs either. These consoles were used by Nintendo and have some serious history tied to them. So without further ado, let's take a look at the Incredibles and Donkey Conga GameCubes. First, let's talk about why these consoles even exist. Then I'll tell you how I got them, where I got them, and finally, how much I paid. Spoiler alert, it's in the 5 figures. I know, I'll be on a top ramen diet for the rest of 2024. A few weeks back, I learned of a super high-end GameCube collector that was getting rid of his entire collection. Amongst various pieces of GameCube development equipment were these two extremely rare GameCube consoles. At the time, I'd only heard very little about them. So the first place I went to learn more was consolevariations.com. And no, this is not sponsored. This website is home to a huge database of, well, exactly what it sounds like. A bunch of consoles and their different variants. To put into perspective just how rare these GameCubes are, both consoles have a rarity score of 100, which is the highest score a console can get on consolevariations.com. Why do these have such a high score? Well, there's only one of each of them in the entire world. Let's dive a little bit deeper into each console's origin. Starting off with the Incredibles GameCube, this was the grand prize in a giveaway run by a German Nintendo magazine called Jubiläumgewinnspiel. That sounds right. It was airbrushed by Torsten Ratschu, who worked on pretty much all of the custom GameCubes given away by the magazine, such as the Sum of All Fears, Polar Express, Castle Ween, also known as Spirits and Spells in America, Goblin Commander, and World Racing GameCubes. Shout out to the absolute legend that sold me these GameCubes, because he included the actual magazine that this giveaway was advertised in. And here you can even see all the other different prizes you could win in the giveaway, such as this disturbing looking SpongeBob doll, the SpongeBob movie game, which is a banger by the way, some crappy looking DS game, a TAC game, Incredibles watch, baby Jack plush, and an Incredibles skateboard, which honestly might even go harder than the Incredibles GameCube. But here's where things got a little strange. This giveaway never even happened. The magazine writers forgot to write how to enter the giveaway, so it just ended up being canceled altogether. And this wasn't the only time this happened either. The guys that were running that magazine at the time were particularly forgetful for some reason. They forgot to include entry instructions for multiple of the magazine's giveaways. They weren't even trying. So then you may be wondering, who ended up taking home the Incredibles GameCube if the giveaway never gave away? Well, that's where a gentleman named Sasha enters the picture. This guy used to work for Jubiläumgewinnspiel and eventually even landed a job at Nintendo in Germany. Long story short, he ended up with an absolute motherload of incredibly rare N64 prototype consoles, DS's, and of course the Incredibles and Donkey Conga GameCubes. It almost sounds too good to be true, but I actually have paperwork right here that confirms Sasha's working at Nintendo. I've blurred some of his personal information of course, but this confirms it. This dude worked at Nintendo. He's the one that ended up taking home the Incredibles GameCube after the giveaway fell through. So how did these rare systems leave his possession? Well, a fella from consolevariations.com, as a matter of fact, ended up buying them from him. There's a whole article about this transaction if you guys want to read a little bit more about it. It's pretty interesting. I'll leave it in the description. But anyway, after that, a guy named Michael bought those GameCubes from consolevariations.com. Finally, I bought the GameCubes from Michael in the form of an eBay auction. Both of these GameCubes kind of slipped under the radar since they were being sold from Germany. That means they wouldn't pop up in a normal GameCube search unless you checked the worldwide option. Personally, I think this contributed to how little they sold for, because in my opinion they should have gone for a lot more. And they went for a lot, trust me. But I'll tell you what I paid just a little bit later. It's kind of embarrassing. The Incredibles giveaway is incredible alright, because not only is it a 1 out of 1, but it was a prize for a giveaway that never even happened. The fact that this GameCube even made it into the wild is a 1 in a million chance. Now let's talk about this Donkey Conga GameCube, shall we? As cool as this one is, not a lot is actually known about it. It also came from Sasha like the Incredibles one did, but its original purpose is unclear. Consolevariations.com states that it was used in events by Nintendo to promote Donkey Conga, but besides that, no additional information can even be found about this thing. The most convincing evidence we have to go on is Sasha's word that it was in fact used by Nintendo. I already feel bad enough for spending such an ungodly amount of money on these GameCubes, and it does not help that it looks like these were made in a high school art class. We now know a little bit more about these rare GameCube relics. So the only burning question that remains is, how much did my dumb ass spend? Well, funny enough, I actually screen recorded myself as I desperately attempted to win these GameCubes on eBay. Let's take a look. At this point, I had already won the Donkey Conga GameCube, so I knew deep within I needed to complete the pair. And yes, you are seeing that correctly. I actually spent a whopping $5,000 on the Donkey Conga GameCube. And for the Incredibles one, I was prepared to drop another $5,000. I waited anxiously as the clock counted down, heart racing, hands sweating. As the timer hit 10 seconds, I threw out my max bid of $5,000 and prayed to the Incredibles gods above. The clock hit 0 and I refreshed the page. I had done it. Over $10,000 later, I had become the new owner of 2 pieces of GameCube history. Excitement, regret, adrenaline, confusion. It was all coursing through my body at 100 miles per hour. 10K is an absolutely insane amount of money, I know, but think about it. If I didn't buy these now, I would probably never own them in my entire life. These are the types of things that people rarely get rid of. I'll admit, in a way I'd even say I'm a little selfish because realistically, these belong in a museum. But for now, they're mine, and I will cherish them. Looking back, it kind of freaks me out to realize how much money I spent in the course of about 7 minutes. But once they arrived in the mail, I quickly realized that I now own some of the most legendary GameCubes on planet Earth. 2 one-of-one pieces of GameCube history. And honestly, I don't know how I can even top this. Be honest, were these worth the price? Let me know right now in the comments. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more GameCube and game collecting content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.